This is the transition from the Thomas flares up to the pommels, and then a move called an undercut right there, and he breaks into the single leg work. The single leg work, or scissors, is a requirement.
Judges' marks for that performance, also a 9.85, so we now have a three-way tie for the lead. Over on the floor exercise, Oksana Chushovitina, who placed third in the vault, is preparing to take her turn.
She's the world champion in this event. She has some of the most difficult tumbling I've ever seen. Watch this first tumbling pass. It's a full twisting double back with a full twist. He's on the second somersault. And it's laid out. Little stumble. Oh no, too bad. It's a 1/10 of a point for going out of bounds. And she will perform the same tumbling pass on her second run, except in tucked position. Very few gymnasts can even do this pass. She does it for her second run. She changed it. Plain double back. Final tumbling run is a pike double back. Very nice routine. I'm surprised she changed her mind, though, and decided to only go with the tuck double back. Because the best part of her routine is the difficulty in her tumbling passes. But this first one is just simply amazing. Watch, she stays in the stretched position, right here, full twist. The only problem, look here, she lands completely out of bounds, and unfortunately, that's a 1/10 of a point off. The dismount is a pike double back. She lands a tiny bit short, but only slightly. You see right there, she has to step forward.
Official marks 9.80, only good enough for 6th place, a clear disappointment for the defending world champion. When we return, the world all-around champion, Kim Zmeskal, will be going for her first gold medal in an individual apparatus. Biggest stories to come out of the last World Championships in Indianapolis was the emergence of the sport's new superstar, American Kim Zmeskal. Here's Kathy Johnson with more.
When Mary Lou Retton won the Olympic all-around gold medal in 1984, thousands of little girls wanted to be just like her. One of them was this tumbler, 8-year-old Kim Zmeskal, who in 1984 was lucky enough to be living in Houston, where Mary Lou trained with Bella Caroli.
I still picture myself sort of as the 8-year-old looking up to Mary Lou, and it doesn't seem like other people would do that to me, but maybe they do.
Of course they do. At the 1991 World Championships, she led the U.S. women to their best team finish ever, 2nd place. And with her thrilling performance in the floor exercise, Kim became the first American woman to capture the world all-around title. At only 15, Kim Zmeskal had suddenly been thrust into the spotlight. Back in Houston and a half a year later, Kim, now 16, tries to carry on a regular life, at least on Sundays, which she has off from the gym. With a younger sister and brother, Sundays are for family. And even world champions have to do homework, although this year school's by correspondence, which doesn't provide time for making friends.
I don't have a very big social life right now. I'm not going to school. My training is number one, and if whatever else doesn't fit in with it, can't do it.
Kim is very close to her sister Melissa, as well as to fellow gymnast Betty Okino, who lives nearby. One might wonder if both girls ever feel as though they're missing out on their teen years.
It's not really that big of a sacrifice, because what I could get out of it and what I've already gotten out of doing gymnastics is totally worth it.
In this Olympic year, Kim is already out in front with a victory in last month's American Cup.
I feel like a lot more people are watching, and a lot more people are concerned about how I'm doing. It's a little extra pressure, but I usually do better under pressure anyway, so I guess that's to my advantage.
Still just your average teenager in so many ways, Kim Zmeskal can be very mature, and she knows what she wants.
I like competitions, and I like winning. I guess that's pretty much me.
Well, if Zmeskal likes to win, she's got her work cut out for her. Henrietta Onodi scored a 9.912 earlier. However, the floor exercise is one of Zmeskal's best events.
She placed first in the preliminaries and was a bronze medalist on this event at the World Championships. And it's a new routine. You can see immediately the difference in her tumbling. Very fast, very quick. Coming up is the tumbling pass that everyone waits for. Count them 3 whip backs all the way through to a double back. 1, 2, 3. Very nicely done. She has been performing a full twisting double back since the World Championships. Let's see if she does it. She's going for it. Nice work. This is what event finals is all about. You go for everything, and she did.
A deafening roar of applause for perhaps one of the most emotional favorites on the floor.
John, there's something very important here. After the World Championships in the fall, a lot of people said she did not have the difficulty to be the world champion. Well, she has risen to the occasion right here, decided to challenge them and show them that they can do it, that she can do more difficult passes. This is what I'm most impressed with Kim about. She typically finished her routine with a double back, but instead she has pushed her potential. And this is work for her, but she makes it.
A very poised and confident performance. The official marks are in. 9.937. That's good enough for a gold medal for Kim Zmeskal. And one of the first to congratulate her, the runner-up, Henrietta Onodi from Hungary. A very warm and sincere congratulations. And so we take a look at the official results. Kim Zmeskal wins it, proving that the Indianapolis victory was no fluke. It's the first time an American woman has won a gold on individual apparatus in 14 years. The silver goes to Henrietta Onodi, who adds that to the gold she won in the vault earlier. In the men's pommel horse competition, it's a 3-way tie for gold. Pai, Li Jing, and Sherbo share the honors. Mark Sohn finished 7th. Kathy Johnson is with Kim Zmeskal.
Kim, I know nothing can compare to winning the all-around title last fall in Indianapolis, but do you think, does this send a message to the rest of the world that you can win outside the United States?
Yes, because a lot of people were criticizing me that I only won it because I was in the U.S. and that my tumbling was not strong enough to get a bronze on the floor, and I upgraded my tumbling and I won a gold here, so I'm real happy.
Certainly has to make you feel good. What does this do for the Olympics coming up so close in Barcelona?
Well, they're very close, so the judges, are still going to remember what happened here, and so will everybody else, and it gives me a lot of confidence going to the next couple months.
Well, good luck with your training and in Barcelona.
Happy Easter.
To start out the rings competition, we'll be watching arguably the finest male gymnast in the world, Grigory Mishutin, who is the all-around champion as well as the rings champion at the last World Championships. He's approaching the mat.
Mishutin was a surprise winner of the World Championships back in Indianapolis last fall. This is one of his best events. Now, he's an all-around performer, and he's here in these specialist World Championships, particularly because he's so terrific right here on the still rings. This is a great move, a plunge, and then watch, he presses it on up to a handstand. The judges require the gymnast to do a press to a handstand as well as a swing to a handstand. Very impressive opening strength sequence. Double front within the rings, up to a handstand. There's the dismount. Great start.
Now the judges would be in a quandary because he is the first contender for the gold to perform. How high can they score him?
And typically they tend to score tight on the first couple of routines to hold some room for some better performances, but I don't know how we're going to see much better than that. Look at the body position in the planche, completely straight, and then he presses it on up to a handstand. From there, he lowers to what is called a Maltese cross, which is a combination of a plunge and an iron cross, and of course there's an iron cross. There's a lot of strength in that routine. The dismount is the laid out double flip, the full twist in the second flip, and I don't know what it is about the Commonwealth athletes, but they stick everything. They rarely make a mistake on landings, and that's why they get the big scores.
Big scores indeed, a 9.837 for Grigory Mishutin. He moves into the lead. One of the necessary ingredients of a good gymnast is strength. Bart shows us how they train.
People ask me all the time, how do gymnasts get so strong? Do they lift weights? Well, actually, there are a few gymnasts who do lift weights, but for most gymnasts, the only weight they lift is their own body weight. Now, let me show you what I mean. Typically, a weightlifter does something like an overhead press. I'm 140 pounds. I don't need a barbell. I can do them like this. Just turn upside down. 140-pound presses, right? Okay. Every fitness buff or weightlifter has to do some kind of conditioning for their stomach. They might do regular sit-ups, crunches, something like that. For a gymnast, they look like this. Okay? Now everybody has to do some kind of bicep exercises. Maybe they do it with dumbbells or with a barbell, either position. For a gymnast, you can do them like this. Chin up, or maybe for the rings, a variation like this. All right? And everybody has to do some kind of strength exercises. A weightlifter might use a barbell, do squat jumps like this, or squat presses. For a gymnast, all you have to do is squat and backflip. Now, strength is deceptive. I'm only 5'6" and 140 pounds. That's the average size for a male gymnast. But pound for pound, gymnasts are among the strongest athletes in the world.
And our next competitor would certainly qualify. Li Jing from China is 5'5", 130 pounds, defending champion on the parallel bars. We saw him win the gold on the pommel horse earlier. This is his attempt to win his first gold on the rings.
Li Jing is perhaps one of the best-looking stylists of all the gymnasts in the competition. He has plenty of difficulty, but what's most important is the look of his body line and the rhythm of his routines. Let's watch for that. Back roll to iron cross. Kip to an L cross. Pull out to an L. Once again, most of the gymnasts are using their strength moves early when they're fresh. Look at the body line and the extension in the handstand. Inverted iron cross. Beautiful handstand positions. He's not rushing. There's a dismount.
Very close.
You know, in theory, they don't deduct if your feet don't move. But I'm sure you'll get a couple of tenths off for the acrobatic arm movements there. Boy, beautiful position in the air. He's a little over. You can't blame him for trying.